Everyone, my name is Austin. I'm a senior product designer here at GitLab. This week I'm going to be going through the agenda of, well, basically I guess like the last 2 weeks because I forgot to do last Friday. So here we are. To start us off, I'm going to just talk a little bit about the default branch protections and the work that we're doing there. So essentially that work's been split into two different areas, the stuff that we know about and the unknowns. So the stuff that we feel good about, that work is going to be planned, broken down. We're still moving forward on it. Thinking through how we might do more of the enforcement around that protection is something that I can highlight real quickly in Figma. This is kind of where I'm getting stuck, more or less. And it's mostly because we have this feature we introduced in Premium. So being able to set a default branch protection is actually a free feature, but we created this ability to prevent owners from being able to modify this setting at the group level. This type of enforcement is different than the cascading settings, and so it can make things a bit confusing. So just walk through a simple illustration of this. If you're in the admin area, once we've gone through those known issues and we've made some progress on relocating the setting into the default branch area of repositories, you'll be able to specify your protection level. And then this is that setting I'm talking about. So this is what is currently in Premium, allowing owners to manage the default branch protection per group. It's kind of confusing, but what it's going to do is it's going to impact all your new and existing groups. It's going to essentially show or hide the setting beneath it. So if it's not checked, like it is here, kind of show this would impact either an administrator's or an owner's view. So in this example, I'm in GitLab org, I'm an admin, so I can still see all of these settings. Today it would hide it from you. So on my right over here is actually what we will do with the owner view. So given that we don't change anything per se, this setting is just going to become read-only as opposed to hidden. The part that gets confusing is what happens when we introduce cascading settings. So if we use this to allow users to enforce protections, meaning not just like hide the setting, but be able to prevent users from making changes to it. So also making it read-only and a level beneath it. And where we're really trying to prevent the change ultimately is what makes it to the project level. So as you go through the different layers of GitLab, you set your protected branch default here in the admin area. Your group then inherits that once it's created, and then a subgroup inherits that value from its parent group once it's created. And then when you create a project and a repository is created, it's initialized, you then get this protected branch. And so that's really where we're trying to figure out how do we impact this setting downstream by making this experience up in the admin group and subgroup area more clear. Because what I feel is confusing is you might say allow owners is unchecked in the admin area. Then you might enforce protections at the group level. And then in your subgroup, it all just looks disabled regardless if you're an admin or an owner. You don't necessarily know why, but the answer would be you'd have to uncheck two places for it to turn off, and that's just not good. So I think order of operations is going to be important here. All right, next. We've had a lot of really great additions come through just to help refine our UI text. I'll emphasize again that a big part of improving our SUS scores and come from learnability. I am a big proponent of thinking that introducing small changes that improve our UI text would go a long way. A lot of things I personally struggle with in trying to learn GitLab as a team member is sometimes the descriptions or the help text is unclear, and that already creates a barrier to learning, which makes me then go to docs and have to go read further. So just want to highlight a few of these cool things that we're seeing. One is going to update the merge request approvals descriptions and its links. So we're going to better emphasize how merge request approvals help you with separation of duties. That's part one. Another part will be refactoring some compliance framework documentation to make that a little bit more useful for users to better understand how do you implement them, why do you see certain things. So thanks to Evan Reed for opening that up, MR. And then there's also some refinement going on. Just very nitpicky stuff, but just trying to better emphasize the language we're choosing between all branch, any branches, that kind of stuff. So thanks for Dan for doing that. Cool. So next, Ian's been doing a great job just breaking down the compliance report. I know Max has been doing that too. We're going to continue to ship more from this epic around building out the compliance report. I've been hyped about this for months now. I think it was like back in January when I was talking with Matt about our learnings from some of our research sessions, knowing that this is going to make a substantial impact on the way that our persona Cameron interacts with the compliance information that we present. Right now, we're just such a minimal state that it almost makes the feature useless in some ways. That's what we heard from a lot of users in terms of feedback. So this takes a huge leap forward. The closer we can get to this, I think will also better impact our category majority scorecard that I'm going to be running in Q4. There is a scenario that involves looking for separation of duty violations in GitLab, and the easier that is, the better we'll probably do in that maturity rating. Daniel Fosco, as an OKR for this quarter, is working with me on doing a UX scorecard, so you can read and watch about his experience through looking at that issue. Overall, he gave it a B-. I have watched his unedited video and I watched his edited video. It's great. There's some more details around the experience as you go through the user journey. Some things surprised me. Some things did not so much surprise me. I think he did a great job coming in, checking out, using what he knew about the product. I could inform him about compliance. And I think we have some great steps that we'll be able to take forward after 14.4. I'm also going to be looking into more SUS-focused opportunities for compliance. Right now, if you kind of look at our issue list that has compliance and SUS tied together, there aren't that many. I anticipate a good number of them are going to come from both the audit events feature, coming from compliance frameworks, and I was going to say maybe a configuration of compliance settings in particular, but for now, let's just say audit events and compliance report are probably like the two biggest things that we're going to continue refining in the future. And just want to give a quick update. There's some great work going into 14.4 around the merge request report widget. It looks like a good bit is going to get done in terms of creating that initial component, but there'll be more levels that need to be built out. So I think once we get through once the broader GitLab team gets through a number of these issues, then we'll be ready to start looking at when we can schedule updating status checks to use that component. And last but not least, we hired a new manager, which is super exciting. Welcome Blair to the team. He's watching my video now. Consider setting up some coffee with him. It'd be really great just to chat it up and get to know each other a little bit. He's still onboarding, so it's a good time. With that, I'll see you all again soon.